In the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. How I became the hero of my story and also suffered the curse. Hello, I'm Matthew Lamotte, 3-time Magic champion living in Cambridge, and today I want to explore this idea of the hero's journey and the curse of the hero's journey that I experienced when becoming the 3-time Magic champion. Now, almost every book, every movie, every story you've ever heard follows this same formula called the hero's journey. It was coined by Joseph Campbell, and he recognised that every good story follows this particular formula. Character has a way of life. That way of life is interrupted, they then get called to adventure to solve some kind of a problem, and then they overcome some kind of adversity and they return a changed, better person. Now, the reason that this story resonates so well with humans is because we all go through this hero's journey in our own lives. We have to make decisions, make changes, and these are struggles. They're small struggles, sometimes big struggles in our everyday lives that we have to then learn or get advice from somebody to overcome these things, and then we come back to our everyday life a slightly changed, a slightly better, improved version of ourselves. So if you've watched Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, The Grinch, any movie or read any book, it will probably follow this formula or most sort of key points of this formula. This is my hero's journey for becoming the 3-time Magic champion. Let's get straight to it. So I started off with status quo. There was a call to adventure. So I wanted to enter a competition. I think a friend said you should enter the competition, and I said, okay, let's do that. At the departure, I started putting in all the work, material selection, writing, practicing. I then hit the trials, which is rehearsal with feedback, and that was quite exhausting, sort of going through something, then getting the feedback, this could be changed, this could be better, and this improvement process. And then the approach, which is like the big ordeal. If you're playing a computer game, it's usually when the big boss man comes for that level. For me, it's the competition itself. And then there's the crisis moment. Now, I'm talking about this in terms of not just that first time, but every single time I entered the competition. And I entered the competition 7 times in total. At the first 3 times, I didn't get placed at all. The 4th time, I didn't even get through to the auditions. So this is 4-year period of just absolute failure in front of all of my peers. This competition is like the night of the calendar, the biggest night in the Magic Circle calendar. It is a packed theatre. I failed 4 years in a row, essentially. The treasure then came when I won for the first time in 2017. And that was, everyone had seen me go through this journey. And that moment where my name was called for first place, I still remember just that feeling of, is it my name? And the 3rd place gets called, 2nd place gets called, and there's this kind of, there's this double act going on in your head going, it must be me, and the other part's going, yeah, but it might not be, because I've been there before and it wasn't me. And so yeah, there was a lot of nerves when my name got called. It was a massive moment, a euphoric moment, and everyone in the theatre just erupted with applause.
The Magic Circle Close-Up Magician of the Year 2017, in his 4th time of trying, is Matthew Lamotte!
Definitely a standout moment of my life. Just that feeling of achievement of, yes, finally done it. Everyone was behind me. And then in 2018, I won again, 2nd time in a row. It was unprecedented. Nobody's ever done it before. I was the first person to do it. And because of this 4-year build-up of failure, I then win and win again. It was just this, again, massive reaction from the theatre. Everyone was behind me, on my side. I was ecstatic, clearly. And it was an amazing moment. This is where it gets interesting, because in 2019, I won for a 3rd time. But I got this sense that people are kind of in this place of, all right, you've had your time now. Leave it for somebody else. You've had your moment in the limelight, mate. Stop now. And I think this is what I mean by the curse of the hero's journey, because experiencing that felt a little bit deflating on some level, but also I kind of felt like I'd done it on my own 2 shoes. Regardless of what other people thought or felt, I wanted to win 3 years in a row, and I accomplished that challenge. And it was kind of a bit of a joke challenge between myself and another magician called Brendan Rodriguez. Shout out to Brendan. Yeah, one of us said, I can't remember who, but the first person to win it 3 years in a row. I went, okay, deal. And that was my personal goal, and I wanted to achieve that. So regardless of what people thought, I achieved my personal goal. And so, yeah, I don't care what anybody else thought. But it was quite grounding to think that, okay, so people are behind you up until a point. And at that point, you're on your own. And as soon as you start succeeding and reaching that level of success, people start to turn and they start to not be quite so supportive. So I think being the hero of your own story can be quite a lonely place, but it's also very empowering. And when you find your team of people and the people that are in your life, not necessarily colleagues, not necessarily friends or family, but people within those pools of people that will support you no matter what, whether you're failing, whether you're trying something out for the first time, and when you're succeeding, I think that's the important one. Those are the people that you want to keep in your life, and yeah, to keep them rooting on and encouraging you to keep on doing what you want to do. So yeah, now I think I'm the only person to have entered that competition 7 years, I believe. So I think that I'm well versed in what it's like to put together that kind of an act, and as a result, I've come back from that 7-year period. I'm now in a much better position. I know how to write, create methods, think of ideas. It's all of those skills that I had to learn, even how to practice and rehearse effectively. I now have that knowledge and that experience under my belt, and I've started to impart it on some students of mine as well. So it's a really gratifying process to then give back everything that I've kind of taken from that industry. So what have I learned from this experience? Well, I've learned it's much easier being an underdog than it is holding onto a hero's status, that's for sure. The people that supported you as an underdog might do the opposite when you come back a hero, and there comes a point when you're on your own. And finally, that there is a story waiting for us all, and it's up to you to become the hero of your story. Not everything is as it seems. I'd like you to take away a piece of magic and a story to tell. Most importantly, I want you to remember the experience we shared this evening. It was all done by kindness. Good night.